On February 20th, 2024, a disturbing event unfolded in Baltimore, Maryland. Rozmyn Miller, a 43-year-old woman, and her son Jacob Miller seemed to have vanished without a trace. On the evening of that fateful Tuesday, Rozmyn picked up her son Jacob like she does every day. The two jumped on the highway and ventured out. However, this seemingly ordinary moment was not what it seemed. Somebody or something was guiding her actions, telling her where to go, and she listened intently. Rozmyn and Jacob haven't been heard from or seen since that day. The following day, Rozmyn's family grew increasingly alarmed by her absence and their inability to contact her or Jacob. Deeply concerned, they reported Rozmyn and Jacob missing to local authorities. According to Rozmyn's sister, Christian, Rozmyn had sought medical consultation back in February, where she received some unfortunate news that may have greatly upset her. This news appears to have set off a chain of events that ultimately led Rozmyn to flee from her life, taking her young son Jacob with her. Rozmyn's family swiftly notified the police of their disappearance, fearing the worst for the safety and well-being of both Rozmyn and Jacob. In a desperate plea, Christian reached out to local news outlets, urging Rozmyn to come home and return Jacob safely. Oddly, while the police took the missing persons report, they seemingly didn't prioritize the case with the urgency it deserved. Shockingly, it took a full 5 months before the general public was even made aware that Rozmyn and Jacob were missing. The police appeared hesitant to officially classify Rozmyn and Jacob as missing persons. Did they possess information that the family wasn't privy to? If so, what details about the case did they know? Hello strangers and strangelings, welcome back to the Strange Bar and Grill. Today we'll delve into another peculiar missing persons case, the perplexing story of Rozmyn and Jacob Miller. Hailing from Nottingham, Maryland, a suburb of Baltimore, Rozmyn and Jacob Miller were deeply loved by their tight-knit family and friends. While details of Rozmyn's early life remain scarce, it's evident that she maintained close bonds with her loved ones. Rozmyn was a remarkably bright and successful independent woman, a fact clearly demonstrated by her impressive academic achievements. She graduated from Baltimore's Institute of Notre Dame, a prestigious private Catholic all-girls high school, before heading to Virginia to attend the renowned historically black college, Hampton University. There she earned a Bachelor of Arts degree in political science. Not content with just a single degree, Rozmyn went on to obtain a Master's of Science degree in negotiation and conflict management from the University of Baltimore. After completing her education, Rozmyn held various positions before securing employment at the Federal Mediation and Conciliation Services, or FMCS for short. For those unfamiliar, as I was, FMCS is an agency whose mission statement reads, FMCS works to build better and more effective workplace relationships and mitigate the damage from inevitable conflict through preventive dialogue, honest communication, and responsive strategies. In essence, they provide invaluable conflict management and prevention services to workplaces and institutions. So there you go, you learned something. But I digress from my point here. I highlight Rozmyn's professional accomplishments to underscore the fact that she was a driven, successful career woman, owning her own home in Nottingham, which is no small feat considering the high cost of housing currently. And it just serves as a further testament to her achievements in financial stability. Rozmyn was undoubtedly doing very well for herself and her beloved son, Jacob. But Rozmyn's biggest success was not her career, was not how much money she made, it was her son. Jacob was Rozmyn's greatest pride and joy, and at just 13 years old, Jacob was already a shining star, excelling academically just like his mother. Rozmyn's love for Jacob knew no bounds. She always put his needs first and would go to any length to ensure his safety and happiness. Jacob was her everything, and she was fiercely protective of him and would always keep him safe. But what exactly was Rozmyn trying to keep Jacob safe from? What could have driven them to disappear without a trace? What unseen forces were at play in their sudden vanishing act? In February of this year, Rozmyn reached out for medical help. Having struggled with mental health issues for some time, her concerned family successfully persuaded her to seek professional assistance. Rozmyn agreed and scheduled an appointment with a mental health specialist. During this consultation, she received news that she likely found deeply unsettling. The doctors, concerned for her well-being, recommended that Rozmyn be admitted for further observation and evaluation. The suggestion did not sit well with Rozmyn, prompting her to leave the hospital against medical advice. She rushed home, quickly packed up as many of her and Jacob's belongings as she could fit into her white 2022 or 2023 Volkswagen Tiguan, and fled, severing all communication with her family and friends. While the specifics of what the doctors told Rozmyn remain unknown, it's clear that she felt an overwhelming need to escape from whatever was causing her distress, be it real or perceived. Due to laws prohibiting hospitals from contacting family members when a patient leaves against medical advice, Rozmyn's loved ones were left in the dark about her abrupt departure. Concerned, they repeatedly tried to reach Rozmyn on her cell phone, only to be met with a barrage of unanswered calls and voicemails. Desperate for answers, the family traveled to Rozmyn's home, hoping to find some clues that might shed light on the situation. Upon arrival, nothing seemed particularly amiss, aside from a few missing items that one might take on an extended road trip, such as clothing and other essentials. The house appeared as though Rozmyn and Jacob had simply stepped out and would return at any moment. However, given the context of Rozmyn's recent mental health struggles and the family's inability to contact her or Jacob, they had no choice but to immediately involve the police, fearing the worst for their safety. Strangely, while the police took the missing persons report, they seemed to approach the case with a lack of urgency. They determined that, as an adult, Rozmyn had the right to relocate with her 13-year-old son if she so desired. The family pushed back against this notion, pleading with the police for help. They explained that Rozmyn was potentially having a mental health crisis and expressed grave concerns for both her and Jacob's well-being. Despite their insistence, it appears that the police did not prioritize the case with the seriousness it warranted. Shockingly, it took a full 5 months before the general public was even made aware of Rozmyn and Jacob's disappearance. Frustrated by the lack of progress, the family turned to social media to spread the word about the missing mother and son. Several missing persons websites picked up the story, but the case continued to struggle to gain widespread attention. Feeling the mounting pressure from family and friends, the police did eventually launch an investigation. They discovered that Rozmyn had listed her house for sale just days before vanishing, suggesting that her disappearance was premeditated and carefully planned. In mid-July, the case experienced a significant breakthrough when a witness reported spotting Rozmyn and Jacob in Prince George's County. The witness, who was visiting a park in Bowie, Maryland with her own family, described Rozmyn as looking distraught, while Jacob appeared to have gone months without a haircut. This observation hinted at the possibility that the pair were not properly caring for themselves and might even be living out of their white Volkswagen. It's important to note that had the police prioritized the case from the beginning and publicized the disappearance sooner, the witness could have alerted the police upon recognizing Rozmyn and Jacob, potentially leading to a welfare check. However, due to the 5-month delay in raising public awareness, the witness had no way of knowing the significance of her sighting. In a desperate plea, Christian reached out to the local news outlets on July 26th to express her concerns about Rozmyn's mental state. While she didn't believe Rozmyn would intentionally harm Jacob, given her deep love for him, Christian acknowledged that in situations like these, one's mind could lead them down dangerous paths. She emphasized that, while she didn't think Rozmyn would hurt Jacob, the uncertainty of the situation left room for grave concern. Christian also shared a poignant message directed at her sister saying, "I just want you to know, I love you. I love Jacob, and whatever you're going through, don't listen to what they're telling you. We love you, and we will help you with whatever you're going through." During my online research, I discovered that Rozmyn's family and friends suspect that she may have been heading to Atlanta. While it's unclear if she has contacts there or if it's just a destination she had previously mentioned, it remains a possibility that Rozmyn and Jacob could have journeyed in that direction. As of now, that's all the information I've been able to gather. Rozmyn and Jacob have been missing for a full 6 months at this point, a deeply unsettling reality. Normally, such a prolonged absence might lead one to fear the worst. However, the witness's confirmation of a sighting 5 months after the initial disappearance has ignited a glimmer of hope that Rozmyn and Jacob might still be found safe and alive. Now, with that in mind, let's explore some potential theories about what could have happened to Rozmyn and Jacob. I remain optimistic that Rozmyn and Jacob will be found alive. The witness sighting 5 months after they were first reported missing by the family suggests that they're out there somewhere. Rozmyn's loved ones believe she may have been headed to Atlanta, though it's unclear if she was planning to meet someone there or simply seeking a fresh start. While highly unlikely, it's possible that Rozmyn felt a deep need for a change of scenery, a desire to just unplug from the daily grind and live off the grid. Another theory to consider is the possibility that Rozmyn was running from a threat. Could she have been fleeing from someone, fearing for her and her son's safety? What would drive a person to sell their home and cut all ties with their family? Is it plausible that Rozmyn owed someone money and they were coming to collect by any means necessary, leading her to believe that disappearing was the only way to protect herself and Jacob? While this theory seems improbable, given that one might expect Rozmyn to maintain some form of covert contact with her family, even through burner phones or letters, and in a case as strange as this, no possibility can be entirely ruled out. Now, there's also the question of whether Rozmyn was dealing with personal issues with her family. Could she be hiding from a toxic relationship with a member of her immediate circle? Though I've come across comments on missing persons pages suggesting this might be the case, there's no concrete evidence to actually support this theory. Now, let's say that Rozmyn was trying to distance herself from her family due to some kind of internal conflict. It stands to reason that her closest friends would be aware of the situation and could confirm her safety. Additionally, this theory doesn't quite align with the known facts of this case. And this brings us to the most probable and all-encompassing theory: the impact of mental health issues. Rozmyn's sister, Christian, made a telling statement during the news segment, urging Rozmyn to not listen to what they tell you. The use of the word "they" strongly suggests that Rozmyn was grappling with auditory hallucinations, hearing voices that were influencing her actions. But what were the voices telling her to do? Were they warning her that she and her son were in danger, urging her to sell her home and flee? Did the voices breed distrust, convincing her to distance herself from her family? Or could it be that Rozmyn received a devastating diagnosis from her doctor, leading her to fear that her mental health struggles might result in her being admitted to a facility and losing custody of Jacob, thus driving her to take drastic measures to keep them together? While we may never know the true reasons behind Rozmyn's decision to uproot her life and vanish with Jacob, our primary concern is that they're both safe. Though it seems unlikely that Rozmyn would ever intentionally harm her beloved son, the unpredictable nature of mental health crises means that we can never be entirely certain. Alright guys, that's going to be it for today. If you guys have any information on Rozmyn and Jacob Miller, please reach out to the Baltimore Police Department, because any tip, no matter how small, could be the thing that cracks this case and brings Rozmyn and Jacob home. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe for more content. And remember, strangers and strangelings, be safe and be good.